I'm here today at the new offices of AB Dynamics with Tim Rogers. Marvellous, complete transformation.
Absolutely, yeah, it's hard to believe. This has made such a difference to us in the company. As you saw when we went upstairs, everyone's all under one space now. There's much more communication going on between the teams. It's quite nice when customers come here and they see that we're investing in our business and we can show them a place that we're genuinely proud of. We still having to retain some of the old facilities around the vicinity. The old factory now has become a manufacturing site. The two buildings we refurbished a couple of years ago have now become part of the building of the soft targets. And as you saw across the way there, we're now thinking about the second phase to the build, which may have to happen in the next 5 years just to keep up with demand.
When will work start happening over there?
Well, we've got the planning permission to build a 3,000 square metre building, same as the size as this one here. The type of building we're not too sure about. We've got plenty of time. There's no actual time pressure on us here. We believe with the current rented space we have in the area, we've got enough to get us through. It's probably going to be down to the new management to decide what's going to be required. What we do know is that these things take a long time, a lot longer than you expect. And if you don't start the process now, then actually when you need it, you're not ready for it. So at least you can start the process and turn it on off if you need to.
Do you have a view of what you want to use it for?
I would imagine that that's going to be manufacturing and that this space becomes much more about development, training and customers.
And with this space, have there been teething problems or has it all gone to plan?
It's gone to plan. There was an issue that the big machines which we make have a certain footprint that can vibrate a building, and so we got into a debate about what that foundation should look like. And as you can see, there are thousands of tons of concrete going in there as we speak. So we made a decision that we had to move in, and so the builders had to change the order how they built the building. We moved in here September, October. And we expect that hall, the construction hall, to be finished by probably the end of March, in which case we'll be in our entirety, March, April. So that has been the teething issue. The building itself, although it's got plenty of capacity to heat and cool, there's obviously a bit of issue about control of that. But everything we're told by the architect is normal for a building of this type. And as you can see, it's quite an avant-garde shape. It has certain features about it. And we're learning about it every day. And as the temperatures change, and believe it or not, it might have been a cold winter, but it's actually been quite a sunny winter. So we were having to cope with solar gain from winter sun, things that perhaps we didn't expect. So nothing that we can't handle.
And what about expense? Are you on budget?
Yeah, broadly where we need to be. There's another 2 million that needs to go into this year of capital spend, but that's already been accounted for. I think if you go back 5 years, we're probably about 20% higher than we thought we would be. But then actually we've got a building that's 20% larger. So it's all sort of come to the right conclusion. I'm a great believer in having a good working environment. I've always felt that we've had poor development space. I've always worried about our housekeeping, and this is something that we've been working on. And just having a look of a feel of a place that reflects the brand values of the company, I think this building is part of that.
Well, it looks stunning.
Yeah, thank you.
And we're now February 2018, and you're still here.
Yes, okay.
So what's the story? Are you going to be here at the end of the year?
Yeah, when I announced back in July, August that I was stepping down as CEO, part of my role over that interim period was to find the right person to take over from me as CEO. We've also done a lot of work in reorganising the company and moved to the new factory. And it's worth taking time to find the right person. And this process takes a time. The best will in the world, you've got to find the recruitment company, find the right person, interview the right people, second interviews. And then that person themselves has got to be able to be in a position to leave the company they're in. And I would hope that, these people tend to be on 6 months notice periods. And I would hope that actually the bosses and the people that actually they work for would be missing these people. Otherwise, we wouldn't have got the right person. So it does take time. If I look at it, I can't really think of a period where things have been held up. It simply has taken time to find the right person, to interview them, and have that person in the right position to be able to hand their notice in and join. I said I would stay as long as it needs to stay, and I suppose here we are into the first quarter of 2018. But I think with the organisation of the business that we have today, and I think with the way the management structure is set up, the new person joining now is really going to be a more strategic person. The operations are working, the business is working, the sales are coming in, the orders are in the company. That new person can be much more strategic. And that's really is going to take time for that person to bed in. So even when he joins, it's going to take time. So I feel comfortable where we are. As for myself, I will go when I think it's appropriate for me to go.
Is that going to be 2 months, 4 months, 6 months?
Can't say. I mean, it's like I said, it'll be when it's appropriate to go. At the end of the day, you don't want to outstay your welcome. And I'm pretty sure that my directors are keen to get going with the business. And I'm hopefully the new person who's joining will be very keen to get going with his vision for the business going forward. In the meantime, we've got a board of directors that's quite strong. We've got Tony still in the business working very hard, and we've got a very strong PLC board who have visions for the business. And I'm hoping the new person can work with that team to grow the business and take it onto new heights and levels.
So lots of change.
Yes.
New building, new CEO, and a lot of staff seem to be selling their options. Is there a story?
There's 2 parts of the story. The options as issued last year were about 7% of the company. So every year, 2.75% is available to staff. I have to say, actually, only 3/4 of the staff actually exercise their options this year. Most of them want to retain and keep. The thing that has changed slightly is the new MiFID II and MAR rules. There was a time that only directors on the PLC board had to announce if they were going to sell shares. But now under these PDMR rules, the people discharging management responsibility, they have to announce. And we saw the first example of that yesterday. One of the sort of directors on the operating board decided to sell some shares, and we announced it. So I would say to investors out there, you can expect my staff to be selling down their options from time to time. But the good news is that most of them see it as a stock they want to hold and retain, and so long as they work for the company, they can do that. It's just, the rules are changing, and
so we're going to see more staff selling their options because it has to be announced, whereas before they could do it and it wasn't announced.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And equally, it's not a massive percentage. There's over 19 million shares in circulation. We're talking about 2,500 shares got sold, and that particular individual still retains over 130,000. And it's nice to see. We've got guys who've bought themselves houses, put down deposits on houses for their daughters. And as I said before, the share options are to all staff. Everyone enjoys the option scheme, and I would expect them to be able to sell. Now, one thing we do is that we take our responsibilities seriously in the sense that we make sure that we manage the share disposals. So what you saw earlier last month was a single placing of stock, which we arranged with the broker, which allowed our staff to sell in a single block. What we don't want to see is drip feeding stock into the marketplace. And we discharge our management responsibility very seriously there. So rest assured, we manage how our staff dispose. We've got very distinct close periods where we have to be careful, and if we think they're party to information, we withhold it or approve it accordingly. And that's now getting more important now with the MiFID II and MAR rules.
Now we're 5 months into the new financial year.
Yeah.
How are sales going? How's business going?
Really well. We're right on where we expected to be this time for the year, which means we're in line with the analyst forecasts. The order book, I said back in the November at the annual was record, and it's still record. We're really, it's whether we've got the sausage factory to get the products out the door. We've gone from this time last year we were about 90 people, now we're 130. A lot of those people are new manufacturing staff. As we showed you around earlier, we've got new people starting in the electrical group. We've got new people starting in the mechanical group. And we've now opened up new manufacturing centres outside of this main office to cope with demand. So really, really good. There is a big surge in spending by the R&D. The car companies continue to invest heavily in autonomous and ADAS. We think that the simulator with the virtual testing is going to become more and more important in developing scenarios for multiple car testing for autonomous and multiple car testing for ADAS. And the ability to be able to connect our robots to the simulator, I think, is going to be a key part of the offer going forward. And that's what we're working towards, really, working towards the first sales of simulators in the ADAS and autonomous area.
And the Lupin simulator, is there any update on a sale on that?
Yeah, plenty of prospects. We do it because we believe the sales are going to be made. We're still evolving the product. We're still working very hard with Williams on new platforms and new canopies to make the thing more realistic. We're in a position that if someone wanted to place an order, we could now fulfill the order. There's a massive amount of software to be done. This is the thing that kind of has caught us slightly by surprise, is that it's graphical software, it's physics software, it's motion queuing software. There's a whole science around motion queuing, and it's all cutting edge stuff. We are formulating the technology for new products that have never been made before, and that takes a bit of daring. But it's the right thing to do. This is where we need to be. This is where the R&D is going to be spending. And given the interest we've got from the car industry, we know we're in the right place. Just got to get that first order. But the company's been here before, the SPMM machine, the driving robots, the targets, these all started in the same way, products looking for their first sales. But this is an opportunity for us to actually, as a larger company, put a proper R&D program together, look at the marketing correctly, make sure we position it, and move it into the market when we're ready.
And how is it working with Williams? Because it's different for you to be working with another partner that's got their own criteria.
Lovely company to work for. There is a difference in culture. They have as ABD, we have a level of excellence that we try to achieve. Williams are very good at making one-off machines, and I think what we're learning with each other is how to make these things in serial production. Just because there's a certain cost side to it, whereas Formula One tends to be money no object. Obviously, we have to look at some of the value engineering because we've got to make this product affordable. But I've been very impressed. I mean, their knowledge of composites is second to none, and that's something that we don't have. The control side we have in spades. The software side, this is what we do. So the integration of the products is working really well. So I'd say the relationship with Williams is better than I expected, and I'd hope that Williams would say the same about us.
And with the SPMM machines, do you sell about one of those a year?
About 2.5. And there's still a demand for that in the marketplace. There's been a big demand in the last 3 years from China, and we've seen that continue. We are looking to do quite a lot of upgrades on that product over the next couple of years to keep it future-proof. And the plan is that as and when those businesses tail off, there'll be new products coming through the pipeline. It wasn't until recently we were able to make more than one of those things at a time. Now with the new factory, we can actually make side by side. So should the orders come, we'll be ready. But it's a good background piece of business for us. The demand is still out there. The inquiries are still coming in. And so long as we see those, we're going to be in the business of making an SPMM machine.
So do you think we'll see something about that in the half-one results?
What about the new machines or about the SPMM?
About the SPMM.
Well, they're always in there. It's business as usual. I mean, what's been rapid, and if you look at the company's growth, you go back 5 years, the split between the track testing and the lab testing was about 50-50, and the lab testing being the SPMM machine. The robot sales now are about 70-80% of our turnover. And because it's a scalable product, it's much easier to scale. You can see we just open up new design halls, new products, and we just expand the product range. It's very hard to actually scale up a product that costs about £2 million each. It takes time. The fact is that customers who bought our products 15 years ago still need ongoing support, still need new products. And there's an appetite inside the lab testing group to continue to sell and support that product. So I think it will be business as usual, the SPMM machine. The exciting stuff will be the new stuff like the simulators and the other products that we're working on.
And when do you think we'll start to see them coming through to production?
Well, the simulator, as you said, is kind of ready to go. The other machines, they're about 1 year, 2 years off. These things take a long time to develop. It's just not worth rushing them out. It really isn't, especially if you've got time. If you sell one bad product, you'll never sell a second one. And we've learned that from our own cost and seeing experience of our competitors. So this is a product that, the products we're looking at are tools that we think the car companies are going to need in the next 2-3 years. And we want to be ready, anticipating the market by then.
And are you looking at acquisitions at the moment, or are you leaving that for the next chap?
The company can grow 2 ways. It can have the organic growth through the general selling of more products, through the new product development, developing new products. But a company of our size can't just back the new product development horse. It has to have another view. The whole corporate development is not an area I've been familiar with. And I think we have aspirations of the business to grow. And I think part of that dimension has to be a corporate development M&A policy. But you need someone who's had that experience. And this is the reason for going out and finding that person. We're looking for someone who's had experience with businesses of 60, 70 million pound turnover, can understand how that works. As a business, the management team and myself haven't made many mistakes, and we wouldn't want to start now. And I think you just look at what you've done and you realise that what got you to where you are now will not get you to where you need to be. And I think that's part of my decision to stand down and find the next person.
Thank you very much indeed for your time today. Thank you for all you've achieved so far.
It's a pleasure.
And hopefully you'll be around for a little bit longer.
A bit longer, but like I said, I think the next time you do this will be with a new team.
Tim, thanks very much
indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.